Hello everyone and welcome to my live stream preview of AllStar Mile Day. Can't wait to get stuck into the full card. Going to be attending the day tomorrow at the Valley. Going to be very exciting, but we'll get onto that a bit later on. Haven't been able to do a preview for the past couple of weeks just because of other commitments, but luckily I'm doing a live stream tonight and let's get straight on with it. So it'll say I'm at Geelong, which is a bit weird, but just to take note before the stream starts, we've got a runner tomorrow called Bring Me to Life at Geelong. First race, 12:41. Brian Higgins to take the ride. He is paying about $10 at the moment. He ran here and started a very solid price, and he was just a bit too small to finish off his races. That's what Price Ken Jr. said. So they put him away, come back, blinkers on, missed the start at Mornington, stuck with the blinkers, missed the start at Kilmore, flew home in these two runs, took the blinkers off, jumped better, and got stuck with 3 wide no cover. So it was a complete forget run. From gate 4, I'm hoping if he leads on a moderate to slow speed, I reckon he'll win. But there doesn't look to be a lot of pressure, and he's got probably his last chance to do something. So Bring Me to Life we've got in race number 1 at Geelong. Just if you want to follow that, that's good. Go to the main event though, which is the Valley. And this was last week's winners. So we had 2 the win on Sparkle at $5.50. That was able to win. 10 the win on What You Need at $1.90. Very good. V8, $7 the win at $4.40. Good winner. In Secret won the Coolmore. $10 the win we had on that. And we had 5 each way on Biometric, and that managed to run 3rd or 2nd, I think, or one of them, and that got us place of $3.80. So very good in terms of the POT. It started well and it's sort of gone down from there, but last week was good overall. Since we started, we're down -6, which isn't terrible, but still like to be a bit higher. That's the graph of how much profit we were in, and then down and sort of up and down and all that. So enough chit chat. We'll get on with the preview and we'll do it as normal. So just going over the key runners. Race 1's the Lotus Gold Comet. They're going to fly over the 1,000 metres, and I really like Midwest. 58 kilos, Daniel Moore. I don't seem the 58 kilos to be any issue. Has got good Sydney form. Absolutely loves the Valley where it flies. Is the fit horse up against the main chances, which are first up. I reckon he just wins Midwest. Scissor Step, first up, not terrible form, pretty good first up. Blake Shin, gate 4, yes. Blinkers first time. Can run a bit of a race. Sartorial Splendor, it will be up the front, but they haven't ridden it up the front the past couple. And Sartorial Splendor over the 1,000 metres will be going very well. My numero uno also gets the blinkers for the first time, hasn't run for quite a while, almost a year, so I think Scissor Step probably deserves to be a little bit shorter than that horse, and not too much apart from that. So in race number 1, I've gone with Midwest at $1.95, $10 the win on that. I'm very confident in its chances for race number 1. Race number 2 is a benchmark 70 over the 1,200 metres at 1:05 p.m. There's a few scratchings. Cecil Street Lad's got very good form. I just don't like how it has to carry the 62.5 kilos. It's a little bit too much for me. I quite like Hello Broadcast at a bit of a price for Clint Hutchison, Jason Tan, Darren Flindell, Matt Hill, and all them. It's had 2 runs this campaign. First up, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Had to carry the big weight and wasn't disgraced at Flemington behind Red Hot Nick. Then second up down in the weights, went to Flemington again behind Dejumbuck, and it was a bit of a poor run. So I'm hoping third up can be even fitter. Has won at 1,200 before, and it gets every chance to win on Saturday. Gate 6, Logan McNeil can have it midfield or so. And I reckon third up now, it's got a good chance to win. I reckon it's over the odds. Vongole, I just want to see it away from Moonee Valley and onto a bigger track. It always just misses apart from 2 back behind, beating Pretty Tabby. So that horse can run well. Who's the next one? Social Conscience, I also like for Jamie Mott. Comes through the English Sprint where it was not disgraced behind Benedetta and Paris Dior. Before that, comfortably won at Sale, so it can run well. Got it in for second, I think, and in for third in her stride. Comes from Tasmania, or it's past two at least. And before that had some okay form. Don't know if it deserves to be favourite here. Now that I've said that, it'll probably come out and win, but in her stride's a pretty good chance. This one's nearly the favourite, Fearless Rider. Blake McDougall's stuck with this horse through and through, and it's 1-2 from 3. It can run well as well, but I couldn't have it on top. And Morpheus Bragi was supposed to run at Flemington last week, got scratched, and now comes to this race. Maddie Cartwright's been running it all the way through now. Fred Kersley first up off a maiden winning campaign and was good behind Tasman Park last start. So for race number 2, the benchmark 70, 1200, I'm going to go Hello Broadcast at a bit of a price. Just think it gets every chance to win tomorrow, and down in class is very well suited. 5 each one, Hello Broadcast at 23s. Race number 3 is the Mystic Journey over 2,040 metres, and this is the reason we're going to the Valley, because we've got a runner, and it is the 9 Crimson Light. So we'll get on to that a bit later. But number 1, Charm Star. It's the classiest horse in the race. It ran last up behind Don't Doubt Dory and Mankayan and did pretty well. It's also accepted for the Yarra Valley Cup. I haven't checked if it's out of that yet. I'm just checking now. No, it's still in the Yarra Valley Cup, so could potentially get scratched. Might find itself in a trick spot from gate 10, but can run well. Divine Diosa, it's also a good chance. Can settle closer from gate 3 and run well. Uniquely will be running on from the back. Somerville will be in the lead most likely for Waterhouse Bot, and if it gets its own way like it did last start, it's going to be very hard to beat for Blake Shin, and it's a very good chance. Ampere can run well. Here we go. So Crimson Light, it's just never run a bad race. It was its first run here, powered through the line, no luck on this occasion, got too far back and was very good at Cranbourne, then won at Pakenham when it settled close enough, and then got too far back at the Valley behind Somerville and Mixed Multi, who was in this race. Somerville does get a big weight swing on it, but Crimson Light's a very big horse, so it doesn't really matter her. And from gate 5, I think she can settle a little bit closer, and we just need a little bit of speed to be on, because if it's a sit and sprint, I don't think she can sprint past the likes of Queen Air and Somerville. But hopefully she's close enough, there's a bit of speed on, and she's definitely good enough to win, and that's why Mick Ken's put her in this race and scratch from Pakenham Thursday night. So Crimson Light, pretty good chance. My on-top selection is Queen Air. Last start in the Vanity was not disgraced behind Wollombi, running on late. I think 1400 up to 2,000 metres is very good with the 52 kilos. Drawn gate 1 can settle close to the Valley. It just sets up perfectly for Queen Air. Has a BRC Oaks placing, and it's a good chance. And for race number 3, the Mystic Journey, Queen Air have gone 8 the win and 1 each way on Crimson Light, just in case a boil over occurs. But with Queen Air in the Mystic Journey. Race number 4, the Vobis Gold Reef over the 1,600 metres for the 3-year-olds. And Bel Air is the favourite for Ben Mellum. Was good in the Pakenham Maiden Future Stars Series final behind Marble Arch last start, where it got too far back. Before that was good in the CS Hayes. And before that was a good maiden winner at Pakenham. It can definitely win. It's drawn ideally. It can definitely win Bel Air. Russian Dancer has won 2 on the trot, looking to make it 3. Zach Spain sticks. Has to go from a benchmark 64 back to 3-year-old Sedwaite's penalties, which I don't think is a major query. Beat Divine Diosa last start, who runs in the Mystic Journey. Russian Dancer's a pretty good chance too. American Liaison, I thought, could win leading. My on-top selection in the race is Toronto Terrier. 1,200 up to 1,600 I like. Won emphatically last start. Could have just come back a better horse this preparation. From gate 9, I'm hoping he can come across with American Liaison, sit outside the leader, be in front of Bel Air in the run. and hopefully it can hold on and win. I couldn't have split this horse and Bel Air, to be honest. This one's a better price, so I just went with that, I think. Is there any other chances? No. Race 4, the Verbus Gold Reef, Toronto Terrier. I'm hoping can settle outside the leader and prove too strong for Blake Shin. Race number 5 is the Mugger 2 over the 1600 metres, and this horse coming over from France, I think. Bois d'Argent, I hope that's how you say it. It's been running pretty well. Was first up in the Rose Hill Cup when behind Star of India, and he's a shocker. That's not bad form. Gate 1, Oyster Murphy rides. Good chance. Annabelle Nation brings it down. Hasn't missed a placing either, so that's good. My on-top selection is Money Mech for Clint Hutchison. I was on it here when it should have won, and here when it should have won, and then I jumped off here and it won. So I'm jumping back on it again. Gets down to the 54 kilos. Craig Newitt back on gate 3 into odds on, should be, and it's a very good chance. Munamek. Apart from that, there's no other key chances, so it's pretty simple. Munamek 10 the win in the Mugger 2. Happy to have that horse on top. Race number 6, you did not see that, is the Abel Stakes over the 1200 metres. And, well, this is a very tough race, as are the last 4 races as well. Lombardo has to carry the weight and a wide gate, so that's a bit of a query. In the boat, I thought, I don't really see why it's favourite. I mean, I can see why it's favourite, but I just don't think it'll win. And it's first up over 1200, which I think is a slight query. It's usually first up over 1100 and it flies. First up over 1200 will have to be at its best to win. And last preparation, it sort of misfired a bit. It ran in the Heath and the Scalacci. Couldn't really get control of either race and only finished 3 lengths behind them, but it's still a fair way. And there's a lot of speed here, so I was happy to take on in the boat. Frankie Pino I really like tomorrow. Matty Lloyd, blinkers first time, but it's going to get too far back from gate 10 and be rattling home, so I'm against it, but I really like it. Maleva, I really liked. Ran in the Oakley Plate and was pretty poor there, and I just thought to myself, it's not going to run out of a strong 1200, especially with all the pace. So I think it's over the odds, but I couldn't have it. My on-top selection in the race is Lady of Honor. Now, last start it ran first up in the 1200, benchmark 78 at Caulfield, and Jake Noonan said it just didn't fire, it'd be better suited over 1400, which it was. So that's the only query, but it's the classiest horse in the race. Ran second behind Kiss on All Four Cheeks in the Let's Elope, third behind Aegon in the Moonga, and third behind Daisies in the Stock Stakes. From gate 3, Willie Pike, hopefully he's on the outside of the horses on his inside, midfield or so, and will be rattling home off that fast speed. It's a good horse, Lady of Honor. She's all class. I didn't mind the form, just didn't like gate 1. Imperial Lad I thought was slightly over the odds, but has to go 1700 back to 1200. Fluorescent Star is my saver in the race. I just think she's been ultra consistent and was good last start behind Sessions Road, and it's our time and is ready to do something like winning. I Am War. It can run 1200 very well. I just didn't like, it'd probably lead, but I just didn't like the pressure that it probably gets, but I think it's a winning chance, honestly. So yeah, don't need to fast forward. Race 6, the Abel, 7 the win, Lady of Honor, 3 the win, Fluorescent Star to win similar amounts. Not a high confidence race for me. Just those 2 I like. More than those 2, but those 2 for the strategy, $10 strategy. Race number 7, the AllStar Mile over the 1600 metres. Let's go. I'm thunderstruck. We'll back up into the Australian Cup next week. Mick Price said was okay in the Futurity, was good in the CF4. Gate 5, Daniel Moore. It'll be probably further forward of midfield and be running a very good race. Alligator Blood won the Futurity first up, and although every other jockey's going to try and get it beat, by probably setting a fast tempo, but it doesn't have to lead. It's one sitting off them before, so I think it can just sit off them in front of the two other key chances, Thunderstruck and Mr. Brightside. And yeah, I think Blake Shin can win his first AllStar Mile on Saturday. Cascadian I really liked before the barrier draw and before the vets. Mr. Brightside is my saver in the race. I thought was absolutely flashing home in the Futurity Stakes. Now gets to a race at the Valley where it can actually settle closer from gate 2. Should be right there on speed. And yeah, it can definitely win Mr. Brightside. Any other? Not really. Laws of Indices not the worst. Alan Kerr, the Inevitable, I don't think can win, but Alan Kerr maybe can run a bit of a race. Gentleman Roy Pounding I thought was over the odds, but don't like the gate anymore. So for the AllStar Mile, I'm going to go 8 the win on Alligator Blood, 2 the win on Mr. Brightside. Alligator Blood I think should win, and Mr. Brightside the saver just in case Alligator Blood pulls up with an issue. Race number 8 is the Group 3 Typhoon Tracy for the 3-year-old fillies over the 1,200 metres. Paris Dior's the first one we're going to look at. First up in the English Sprint, ran a very good second behind Benedetta. Has to carry the top weight here, but has drawn a good gate, and Jamie Mott will be giving it every chance. It's a good horse. My Bella May, I couldn't have on top, actually. I love the Cyril Flower form line. It's been very good over the past couple of years, but it's got to get around the Valley, which not too many horses that go to the Valley for the first time do. And it's drawn a wide gate, so it'll probably have to get further back than expected. But it'll have to take a good horse to win, but it can win. And Willie Pike is the man to do it. Oh High might get a bit too far back, I think. Parasol is my on-top selection in the race for Craig New at gate 2. First up this campaign, won its main very impressively at the Kensington track when it was very well backed, and then went to Rosehill and beat Insurrection, who Paris Dior just beat in the English Sprint. Parasol did that with 50 kilos. Now it has to go up to the 57 for Craig Newitt. Gate 2, if it steps away slowly, it'll probably find itself in a trick spot, which is the only query, but I really like its chances, and apart from that, not much doing, I don't think. So for race 8 at the Valley, the Typhoon Tracy, I'm going to go 6 the win on Parasol, 4 the win on Paris Dior. Hopefully one of them can get up and we can do something that race. Race number 9 is the Group 2 Alistair Clark Stakes over the 20-40 metres for the 3-year-olds. Very good race. Looking forward to this one. Dunkell coming off 4 consecutive wins. Tas Derby, Launceston Guineas winner, has won by similar margins its last 3 starts. Query gate 12 for me. We'll have to get either further back than expected or risk getting trapped by without cover if it decides to go forward. But it's in winning form and it can do it again. Bankmore just got too far back off that bad barrier in the Australian Guineas. From gate 1, he can settle closer, and Craig Newitt can definitely get it into a winning spot. Is a very good horse, Bankmore. Amenable is my on-top selection. Was slightly unlucky in the Australian Guineas and Autumn Stakes. Third up to 2,000 metres. Gate 2 settled closer. I reckon it's going to win the Alistair Clark Stakes. I'm happy to have it on top. Japanese Emperor nearly won the Australian Guineas. From gate 4, Blake Shin can have it on speed and it can run well again. CR7, I think, is a very good winning chance. I've got it in for third, I think. Ben Mellum should have won behind Dashing at Sandown 2 weeks and a half ago. Before that was very good at Ararat. This horse can win without surprising. Cheval Savant, slightly over the odds too. But for the Alistair Clark, I'm going 10 the win on Amenable. Hopefully, I think it will win. And if not, either Bankmore or CR7 should be getting the job done. And finally, the hardest race of the day, race number 10, the Country Mile Series final at Benchmark 80 over 1,600. Quay was good winning at Ballarat last start, but started 40 to 1 on that occasion. Starting price profile, not great. Gate 1, if it steps a bit slowly, we'll have to be in behind and probably need luck. it can win, but I don't want to have it. Super Razi for Hannah Edgley can also run very well. Very dominant winner last start at Wangaratta, but has to face a pretty tough weight swing to Daily Bugle, but I think it can run a bit of a race. British Columbia, I don't really like it at the Valley. It looks like a big horse that will probably be better suited at spacious tracks like Pakenham and Flemington, but it's in decent form and it can run well with the right run. Geelong Patrol I thought was over the odds, was only 2 lengths off Too Good for Turak, Colac, and they face similar weights again. Geelong Patrol's 27, Too Good for Turak's 550, so I'd be having something on Geelong Patrol as a roughie. Daily Bugle, I think, can run well. Craig Newitt down on a lightweight, which I like this horse having. 2 runs ago was good behind Here to Shock, and then it was good behind So You See. That's probably the best form heading into this race. 3 and 4 pence, I like the form. I just didn't like the gate, which put me off. Rio Yuki, Dean Yendall, small query, 1600 metres, but 3 runs back. It was very close up behind Ballet Riche, and its best is good enough. And apart from that, there's not much else. So for the last race of the day, I'm with Rio Yuki. I just think from gate 5 it'll be covered up with the right run and will have every chance to run out the 1600 metres and be given every chance by Dean Yendall. Also 2H1 on Daily Bugle. It's getting down to the right weight and it brings the right form. Could have also thrown in Super Razi, but can't throw all of them in. Time for the back sack and crack back. Hello Broadcast at $23. I think this horse is way over the odds. If it gets scratched for whatever reason, then in comes Crimson Light. Sack, Too Good for Turak. I didn't really find many favourites I could sack. I didn't want to sack my Bella May because all the Get On boys did, and I didn't want to sack In the Boat just in case. So Too Good for Turak. As I said, Geelong Patrol nearly beat it last start. Geelong Patrol's $27, so Too Good for Turak, I think, doesn't deserve to be favourite, and Crack Midwest, I think, will just win race number 1 at the Valley. So that is my AllStar Mile Day preview live stream. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully we have a good day tomorrow. Hopefully Bring Me to Life and Crimson Light can win. And I'll see you next week for potentially a preview or maybe even a live stream for Australian Cup Day. See you then.